Hello everyone, it is Lucy here and I'm back with another video. In today's video we are doing the reindeer habitat. So what I did decide to do was I was going to do like a walk through habitat for the guests so that way they could see the animals a little bit better. However, I didn't realize that I guess reindeers, you can't walk through their habitat. They are considered a dangerous animal. So when I placed a guest in there, they ran out. So I had to change it up a little bit. So you may see a little bit of a change at the end when we do the screenshot of the animals kind of walking around. So I created like these two viewing areas on either side of the habitat so the guests can actually kind of walk in and act like they're walking through the habitat and maybe see the animals a little bit better because the animals can kind of walk by the big huge windows that I have in the barriers. So for right now what I decided to do is kind of do a little bit of a big body of water and then kind of make it look like there's like a river. And then we did put a waterfall in, but what I might do, because I kind of put ice around the waterfall, so what I might do instead is I'm going to build up kind of a mound, like a mountain type thing, formation around the waterfall. So I'll do that on my own time, I think, and just make it like a big snow cap so that there's kind of like this natural spring that's coming through the mountain. May look a little bit better because as of right now, it's just like a bunch of like ice blocks around the waterfall, and it just doesn't look right to me when I was looking through the footage. So I think what I want to do is just kind of make a little mountain around the waterfall so it looks like the waterfall is actually coming out of this snow-covered mountain. So I'm going to do that instead. But these trees that I ended up putting into the habitat, I really, really love. They light up at night. The bulbs on them act like little lights, and so it kind of illuminates, and at nighttime it's super, super pretty. I had some fun with that, and I think that the reindeer seem pretty happy with, I didn't actually check all of the vegetation and all of the landscaping, but I have a feeling that they're okay with it because otherwise I would have gotten notifications that they were unhappy. So that may come later, I'm not really sure. I actually ended up changing the settings on my zoo. So instead of it being kind of medium hardness, I put it to easy. So that way there, hopefully the notifications will die down a little bit. I'm not sure if it takes a little bit for that to come into effect because I was getting a lot of notifications when I was doing the end footage, but I wanted to change it to easy because I think when I'm doing like the end footage and I'm just trying to like get screenshots and stuff, it might be a little bit easier to have it on easy mode instead of medium mode. So I just wanted to change it because I just feel like it was getting a little bit too difficult and we were getting a lot of different notifications. And as I was trying to get the screenshots done, one of our red pandas actually died from starvation. It was just like a whole thing. It was making me really, really sad. And I was just trying to focus on, you know, getting the end screenshots and things for the reindeer. So when I'm focusing on something, I have to like play the game, like I have to unpause it, and it just becomes a little bit difficult, especially with the difficulty level being so high. And medium mode might not be like super hard for a lot of people, but when you're trying to like do screenshots and trying to get like end footage and things like that, it just becomes a little bit of a problem. And I'm really sad that one of our red pandas ended up dying, and it was kind of like being neglectful, and I just felt so bad. So I ended up changing it, and I put a new red panda in as well, because I felt so bad, and we only have one red panda in the habitat. So I ended up putting in another one, and then I actually got another reindeer as well. So I got another female reindeer because you can actually have one male to like 11 females. So I figured getting in another female might be good because it adds more animals to this habitat, and then more chances of your guests being able to see an animal like walk by or like, you know, eat or, you know, do whatever they want to do, and then the guests will be like super happy that they're, you know, seeing the animals. So yeah, and then I wanted to make it so that it was like all covered in snow, so I put a ton of the coolers around their habitat to just make sure that I covered every little area with coolers, so that way the snow will cover everything, so it will just be like super snowy in their habitat. And I just really like that aspect, especially with it getting closer to the holidays and just having a lot more snow. It just makes me feel, I don't know, it makes me feel happy inside that we have reindeers now in our zoo. And they don't really take up a whole lot of space, and they don't really take up a whole lot of issues either. I think the snow may be a little bit of a energy and money draining aspect of it, but I think it'll be okay because we do have quite a bit of money. I think when we get like polar bears, that's when I'm going to have to start worrying about it, because they require a whole lot of space, and then they also require, like, their whole habitat needs to be covered with snow, and it needs to be super cool. And they also require a lot of food as well, because they require meat, whereas the reindeer, they'll just eat like the leaves and things like that. So it's not that expensive. So that's what I really like about the reindeers. And then I think that they do have doll sheep as well, which also require snow. So we may put those ones in next, because I've actually never seen the doll sheep in my game before, as well as the reindeer. Like, I've never had reindeer in my game. I've never had the doll sheep. I think what I might do is, like, towards the end of the zoo is when I might get the polar bears, and I may change it to just being sandbox mode, so that way there we have infinite amount of money and our zoo won't go under, and it won't go bankrupt. Because I've just heard, like, polar bears require a lot of space. They need to be able to dive, they need to be able to swim, and they just need to be able to just kind of do their thing without any interruptions. And so I think that might be a good idea, is to just kind of get them towards the end. Especially because I think we're going to have to get a lot more staff members as well. And I did hire a couple new keepers, so that way there I can put, like, have 3 to each zone. We're slowly getting there. I think I have like 3 in 2 zones, and then 1 zone only has 2 still, just because it was getting a little bit hard and difficult for the keepers to, like, keep on top of all of the food and all of the requirements of the animals. So I ended up changing it a little bit and making more keepers per zone, so that way the animals just don't starve, just because that made me very sad when I got that notification, because I was just trying to, like, figure out these animals, and the other animals were just, it was just too much. And I may have to get some more mechanics as well, because the barriers are slowly breaking, and there's like tons of them breaking at the same time, which is really hard. But as you can see here, we did cover the whole area in snow. It made me kind of sad that we can't have guests just walk through the habitat and see the reindeer, but I understand they're considered dangerous animals, and I just don't want to put the guests at risk, and I don't want to put the animals at risk either. So we just changed it a little bit. Just kind of looks annoying now, because we have these like 2 building type looking things in their habitat, and it just looks really sad. I ended up making this little but hard shelter for the animals, and I made it out of like these snow covered rocks, because it kind of looks like the snow formed into a mountain, and they kind of are now in this little hard shelter, because the rocks don't actually look like rocks, they just look like big snowballs. So I thought that came out really good. It kind of looks like a little igloo, and I really like it for the animals. They seem to really enjoy it too, because one of the animals seems to go in there a lot, and they're in there quite a bit to hang out and lay down and just relax. So I think it came out pretty good, and I think the animals really enjoy it and really like it. So that's what I did for that. I may add another one, because I think I want to get maybe 1 more reindeer, but I'm not sure. It kind of depends on how much room that we have in the habitat. I may have to take out one of the viewing areas if we're going to do that, if we're going to get another one. I just want to make sure that they have enough space. They are actually quite big animals too, so the chances of guests being able to see them is really good. I haven't seen too many guests come and view them though yet, so hopefully when they start having babies, if they have babies that are of status, maybe they'll come and they'll see them. But as of right now, they haven't really come over to look at them. I had to actually drag a guest in just to make sure that it was okay and it was proper and the building was built properly and they weren't going to get scared or something like that, because where I had it as a walk-through habitat, I didn't know if it was glitched and still was considered a walk-through habitat or not. So But as of right now, it looks like everything's going good. It looks like the guests really can go in there. They can see it if they want to. They can see the animals kind of walking around, and then you might get a glimpse of them like walking by the big huge windows that I placed in the barriers, which is really good. And I also put in the one-way glass, so that way there the animals won't see the guests, but the guests can see the animals. So hopefully that will not create some tension for the animals and not create stress for the animals. So that's really my main goal. I think I'm going to replace some of the barriers with some of the snow-covered rocks, or just rocks in general, just to make it look a little bit more like it's not just a box that they're in, because I really don't like when animals feel like they're in a box and they feel like they're just being viewed. I just really don't like that. So I may change it and may put some rocks in as well, but I just wanted to see how everything came together. And when I was doing some gameplay at the end is when I noticed that guests cannot walk through a reindeer habitat, which is really sad to me because you can walk through the koala habitat, you can walk through the kangaroo habitat. I guess those are more gentler animals, although kangaroos can be kind of vicious sometimes, so you have to be careful of them, but I guess they're a little bit more milder than the reindeers. I don't know about like the regular deers. I don't know about the red deers, if you can walk through their habitat. I haven't really looked too much into that. I think there were some people and some players asking about that, and I didn't really look too much into it to see if that was an actual thing or not. But right now we are trying to fix the walk through area, because I thought like, okay, well, we can walk through but we can't. So I was trying to fix the gate. So but like I said, I did change it, and I've changed it around now so that way there the guests cannot walk through anymore. I think that's probably the best unfortunately. So yeah, we were just fixing this and making sure that there's not a huge gap between the door and the barrier, but as you know, it's not really important anymore, because I actually this is where I took out the doors, and then I just created like a little viewing area and just had the path come in a little bit, so that way there the animals can still pass through their habitat and get through one side to the other side, and it will just be easier. I think you could actually, I'm not really super great at building in this game yet, but I think I could probably create like a walkthrough through the whole habitat and then have the animals have kind of a bridge that they can go over, but I'm not like super good at building yet. So as far as me trying to get that done and get that figured out, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that. Maybe down the road I can try to figure something out, and then if it doesn't look good, I can just backtrack out of it and not go through with it. So, and then this is where the waterfall is, and I just kind of placed some of the snow-covered rocks around to make it look like there's like little snowballs mounted up in the snow, because the snow is not thick. It's kind of a thin layer of snow, which I wish that they'd have like thick snow so that you could see like footprints in it and things like that. That would be kind of cool. But the game doesn't have like an inch or 2 inches of snow thickness. It's just basically just looks like sand if you put sand down. And I think it does like crunch too. Like if you listen to it and they're walking around, I think the snow crunches around, which is kind of cool. That they added that sound in. But yeah, as you can see, I just put ice around the whole waterfall, which I think, like I said, I'm going to just create a whole mountain and just have it look like the water's coming out of the snow-covered mountain instead of having all of that ice around it, because it just kind of looks out of place and it doesn't look correct. So I really want to change that, and I think I'll do that as well. But anyways, you guys, I think I'm going to end the talking portion right here. Please stay tuned to the very end, because I do have screenshots, and I have viewing of the animals just walking around the habitat. So please stay tuned to the end for that. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I will talk to you all very soon.